the right role. We have a knowledge partner and RPO partner, PeopleStrong, who is the leading HR outsourcing company specializing in the HR shared services, recruitment, payroll, and compliance management and HR technology solutions. With a pan-India presence, they provide services to global players across industries. We have, as an associate partner, Cornerstone On Demand, who is the global leader of cloud-based talent management software solutions. Cornerstone empowers some of the world's leading organizations such as Starwood Hotels and Resorts, the Neiman Marcus Group, and thereon to engage their workforces and leverage people performance for greater business results. We have saved time for you to ask your questions at the end of the webinar. For those watching the webinar live, you can submit your questions anytime during the presentation through the question and answer section onto your right at the WebEx. We will try to respond as many questions as possible, keeping in mind the time. We have a full exciting agenda for the webinar today. So without any further delay, I'm going to hand over the webinar microphone to Anil. Over to you, Anil.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I hope everyone can see the slide on technology intervention in recruitment, the Capgemini story. Hello.
So we can see the slide and we can hear you as well.
Okay, fine. So as Savita mentioned, so the journey has been for me has been from 340 to 47,000, and we're still growing. And very clearly, as we moved along, there was a need to get more and more technology into the entire hiring process, and that's where. And so what I've done is I've tried to split, the entire recruitment cycle into the sourcing. That's the key from the time a requisition is created, and then in terms of some of the initiatives and that we brought about in the entire interviewing process, the level 1 interview or the pre-screening interview, and talk a little bit about the application tracking system that we use, and it's a homegrown application that we have been using, given the volumes that we hire. Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to touch upon was, from which is a key source for all of us in the hiring space is the employee referral. We have piloted a new tool, given the fact that some of the challenges that we were facing with the existing one. So some of the typical challenges from an employee standpoint is that whenever we open a demand to an employee referral, the entire process is cumbersome. There is employee do not know about the job openings, and it's all about top of the mind recall, and an employee is not too keen to refer too many people because it's all about calling the candidate or calling his friends and finding out if somebody is interested. So this leads to a poor engagement question, and I'm sure the recruitment leads of many organizations would agree that this is one of the one of the questions that every employee would raise in an open house forum, saying that hey, listen, I referred a resume, but I didn't hear back from the recruitment organization. So what we thought is we need to take this number up. If we are at 18 or 19%, very clearly there is a need to take the employee referral engagement or the percentage up to close to 28 to 30%, the minimum. And that's when we started talking to various organizations, and we came up with this idea of going for a gamified social referral connect program, rather than doing it more as opening a demand to all the employees and then them asking the employees to refer. So that's a change we wanted to bring about. And we went in for the social referral as we speak. So the whole idea of this particular approach is that we want the employees to reach out to their social. So it's all about social recruiting. It's all about how an employee can reach out to his Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter connects, and open the demand to his network, and it is for the entire network to see what kind of an opportunities are available in the organization, and it is for him to see which is the demand for whom he thinks that he is the right fit, and then he fills up a required document or whatever the brief, a few questions that we would want, and then he uploads the resume against that particular job opportunity. So at one go, I can open a demand to all my employees. So we're talking about 47,000, 48,000 employees. And then they in turn, if they open the demand to their social network, I'm sure you will agree that the reach is going to be immense, and the kind of referrals that we would get would be much more than asking just an employee to talk to a few of his friends and forward their resumes to us. We have already done a pilot in terms of integrate with our current application tracking system, so that we are able to track how the resumes are coming in. The key thing here is it's all about engagement with the employee. So we'll keep running referral contests. There will be leaderboards. There will be points and badges for actions. So employees would know what is the score that they are scoring in terms of by referring the profiles. There will be an absolute transparency in the entire process, and I think that is one of the challenges that an employee faces. While he refers the profile, he is not sure what's happening. But what will happen now is that he can go into the system, he can see what is the status. So he can very clearly see that he's referred 10 profiles and how they are moving. So 2 people are offered and they are joining on so-and-so date, and that is the referral amount that he's going to get. 3 profiles are in the L1 select stage. 4 are pending interview. So he does not have to follow up with the recruiters or the recruitment organization to know the status of the profile that he has given. Obviously, the key thing, why are we doing this? We are doing this because at the end of the day, we all recruitment leaders have KPIs around the agency or the recruitment consultant hiring, in terms of what percentage can we hire. So this would definitely, and we are very, very sure that this is definitely going to help us in bringing down the agency cost, improve the quality of the hire, because it is not for an employee asking his friends to refer, but the candidate, and also I think the focus is going to be on the passive candidates, people who are not looking out for the change. They can look at what are the opportunities that are available within Capgemini, and then they would forward the profile against that specific need. We also get a huge brand visibility by doing this. So that's the whole concept of going in for this new initiative in the employee referral engagement. We're calling it the gamified social media referrals, and we're very, very positive that in 2014, this is going to be a game changer for us. Moving on, the other important initiative that we launched, and this was something which we did 1.5-2 years back, was changing the entire, the L1 interviews, which is the first round of interview that we do of the candidates. The entire pre-screening process and interview process, given the volumes that we hire, we hire close to 10 to 15,000, and we have also had years where we have hired close to 20,000 people. I think given the scale and the volume, it was very, very important, to come up with some idea, some initiative which will help us meet the kind of numbers. And that's when, we said, while we have organizations who have been using digital evaluation and assessment for identifying training needs, why don't we look at something, to do the level 1 interview through the digital evaluation? Because some of the challenges where we were facing was a recruiter had to manually screen the CVs, then we would be sending it to the technical guys to shortlist, and then they would shortlist based on the criteria, and sometimes we thought that the profiles were the best, but they would come back and say, no, sorry, I think the quality of the profiles are not good. It is based on individual perception. I could not do thousands of interviews given the challenges we had on the availability of the panel. And all of these issues eventually led to a huge delay in the entire hiring process. And we all as recruitment leaders know that for us, fulfillment timeline is one of the key KPI that we are monitored on, and the entire objective is how we can crash and minimize the lead time to hire a resource. And I know that was the key focus area, and that's when we went in for digital evaluation. So talking more about digital evaluation, what we did, we worked, so we partnered with an external vendor, couple of them, and looked at some of our internal SMEs. We standardized the assessments, to reduce the cost as well as reduce the hiring lead time. So what we did is, working with the partner and the internal SMEs, we built in assessments, and we started with 4 skills, but over a period of time we built in assessments. And as you can see on the effective assessment through digital evaluation slide, on your skill repertoire, there are skills that we build in. So if you talk about, for example, SAP, we have skills like ABAP, BASIS, FICO, PP. So on each of the core modules of SAP or custom software development, infra, BI and others, wherever we knew that this is where the maximum hiring that we do at Capgemini, we worked with the partner and our internal SMEs to build in assessments in this space. All the assessments were validated, signed off by the SMEs, and then that became the first round of screening and interviewing, rather than depending on the L1 panels to interview. Some of the novel features that we had was remote invigilation, coding test, 3-level randomization, image proctoring, and live video feed. So having spent so many years in the IT industry, and the colleagues that are on this webinar know that the kind of people that we sometimes end up interviewing. So while somebody else is especially on the telephonic interviews, what happens. So we wanted to be very, very sure. So when we got into this assessment space, what we did was, as far as possible, we tried to get the candidates into the Capgemini office for the interview. But wherever it was not possible, we had this remote invigilation which was there. So what happened is, whenever the candidate is doing the assessment, it captures the photograph of the candidate at regular intervals. So without the candidate knowing about it. And so suppose it's a 40 minutes test, it will capture it at his photograph at regular intervals, so that we know that he's is the same candidate who then comes for the level 2 interview. Also, if he does more than twice and alt tab to go to Google or something, then the test would end. There would be a warning which would be given to him saying that please don't move out of this window. But if he does, then the assessment would close then and there. We have now, so we used it for the external world, and as we speak, we have done close to 90,000 assessments in the last 2 years, which would be 50,000 plus. We have done for the experience of 2 to 5 years. 40,000 is for the freshers. The success of this has led to this being used even for the learning and development, for using the assessments for internal promotions or even certification. So for example, you want to send up an employee for an SAP FICO certification, and how expensive these certifications are. You want him to undergo this assessment that has been created. You want him to pass this assessment, and only when he clears this assessment with a given percentage, you would then recommend him for for a certification program. Else you would ask him to brush up the skills further. So that's how the entire digital evaluation story has evolved at Capgemini, and I think we are now taking it to the next stage. For example, we're not just doing multiple choice questions. We have started, going in for coding-based assessments for senior level candidates, because while the 3 to 5 years experience people would be okay with a multiple choice question, for 5 to 7 years or 5 to 8 years experience range, you want to test their coding capability as well, because they are the hardcore SMEs. So, we have also launched coding-based assessment, wherein, the candidate will have to undergo a half an hour of multiple choice questions, plus there will be 2, test cases given to him, and based on how he codes, how the answers are generated, he actually goes into an actual environment of an Eclipse or any other environment and does actual coding, and his coding capabilities are evaluated, and then we get to know the results, and then we discuss with the SMEs, internal SMEs, and take it ahead. We are also seeing how we can do video interviews. We are piloting that initiative as well, to do pilot the video interviews as the next step. Moving on, so this is the Capgemini story. In 2011, as I said, we started with 5 skills. We then moved on in 2012 to build assessments on close to technical assessments on close to 21 skills. 2013, we have moved to 48 skills. Today, we use digital evaluation for 50% of our lateral hiring and 100% for fresher hiring. So there is still a scope to move it to 70 to 80%, because for some skills the volume is not that great to build digital evaluation, but we want to move and cover at least 70% of the space of lateral hiring, because there is that 30% of managers, senior managers and above, where you do not want to use assessment, but we want to cover the 0 to 8 years population through the digital evaluation story. As I said, we've already spoken about the web and image proctoring, the coding simulator that we have now started using. Some of the things that we do is we look at what is the question usage and the response analysis. So there is some science in this, in terms of, we look at, okay, this particular question has got repeated, say 100 times. So we put that question out of the assessment and replace it by another question. Also look at the kind of responses that people are giving. So if a particular question needs to be responded in a particular second, how much time is it actually taking? And based on that, we keep churning and replacing the questions. The other important thing for all of us to note here is, 2 people sitting together, there is a 3 level of, this we do. One, if there is a set of 100 questions, the 25 questions that 2 people sitting or 3 people sitting together, the 25 questions that would come out of that 100 questions would be different. Second, the sequence would be different. And third, the way the answers in the MCQ are put are also different. So there is absolutely, 100% foolproof kind of a situation that we have created. Also, from, as I mentioned earlier, from the image proctoring and the web proctoring that we do, this has really helped us a big time in terms of scaling up from the volume hiring that we constantly do at Capgemini. And just to enhance from a candidate experience perspective, because one of the challenges that you continue to face is space. So we've got special rooms created for digital evaluations. We procured close to 70 to 80 iPads, and to enhance the entire candidate experience in the digital evaluation story that we have at Capgemini. So if you look at effective assessment, what it could do, we have a capacity to perform 3,000 assessments per day. Now, just imagine a situation where you have to, scale up, and for a huge volume that you're currently hiring, and you have to get 3,000 interviews done, for which you need interview panels. I'm sure that would never happen. But here I can, get 3,000 people to take an assessment on one given day. And the other important thing is, I do not have to make the candidates wait, because if 3,000 people come in, they undergo for 45 minutes or a 15 minutes assessment, post which I know who are the ones that I want them to wait for the level 2 interview. So in one way, you're not even asking, because some of the challenges we all as recruitment lead we know is what happens on a weekend drive where you have candidates who come in and end up waiting for 4 hours, 5 hours for their slot for a one round of interview. And in some cases, we have to, we send them back saying, sorry, unfortunately the panel could not make it, so we'll schedule your interview sometime during the week. That's something which is part of the recruitment process, which keeps happening across the organization. What we have saved is a huge cost in terms of the interview. Just imagine, the time that the interview panel has to take to do so many interviews. He can use that time on some of the billable engagements that he is anyway working on. So there's a huge saving which is happening there, just the interview cost that is getting saved. It has brought the time to hire, the lead time to hire by 7 days, by just doing the level 1 interview through assessment, because you get a resume, you put him through the assessment, and if he clears, then put him through a level 2 interview. Not a typical scenario wherein you get the resumes, then you are chasing the hiring manager for interview panel, and he gives you a slot 1 week later, and then the candidate is not available, and the schedule and the reschedule that continues to happen. We do the assessment, we know that this guy is selected, he's cleared the assessment, and then he moves on. What we have achieved is a 50% conversion ratio at a level 2. I think that is so. To say, if 100 people give assessment, 65 people do not clear my assessment, which is fine. So they spend 45 minutes, and we know that these 35 people are who have cleared the assessment. But of the 35 people that clear my assessment, I'm getting a 50% L2 selection ratio. So the entire this for us has been a big ticket and a big win for us, because the hiring manager is very happy that he needs to interview very few people, and he's assured of the quality that he's expecting. Another important thing that I just wanted to highlight is we can customize an assessment based on what a particular job description needs. So let me give an example. If there is one project which needs core Java, JSP, and servlets, then I can give an assessment specific to core Java, JSP, and servlets. Whereas if some other projects needs J2E, EJB, Struts, Hibernate, then I would create another link, J2E, Struts, Hibernate, and it would be given to candidates who are taking assessment for that particular project. So it is customized to a job description, and it also gives me a score based on what the candidate has scored in each of the subsection. So if somebody wants a resource who is very, very strong on Struts, then he can look at the assessment report and say, okay, this guy is good. I think he scored very good on Struts. That's what my need is. I want to move ahead with the interview. Also, if there are some areas which are coming out as a little average point, then that is what he can probe in a level 2 interview to get more details and get an understanding whether this resource will be the right fit for the organization. So that's the entire digital evaluation story. It's been a great success story for us, but we want to move ahead. We want to add more skills. We want to add, get more skills on the coding base, and also, move ahead with video interviews. Okay. So moving on, so we, from an ATS standpoint, from an application tracking system standpoint, we have a homegrown application which connects with the external interfaces. We have the way we are structured at Capgemini, given the volume that we hire, is we do not have a recruiter doing end-to-end recruitment. We have very specialized sourcing organization whose role is only to source profiles from the market, from internal database, as well as from the external market, and they have to source profile against a particular job description and then forward the profile to the recruiter. The recruiter then takes it, does the assessment, does the level 2 HR, negotiates, and then makes the offer, and then the offer is released by a separate team. So that's how we are structured, given the scale and the volume that we hire. So that's how even we have structured our homegrown application. So the sourcing organization focuses on sourcing the resume, mapping the profiles with the demand. There is a data and system administration team which looks at what are the kind of reports that needs to come out. What are the flexi roles that we need to give to a recruitment manager vis-a-vis a sourcing leader. We manage the entire end-to-end recruitment workflow is managed in terms of right from the time of assigning a request to a sourcer, then how it moves to the recruiter. Everything is tracked. The interview feedback, the assessment, everything is tracked on the application tracking system that we have built in. Candidate tracking in terms of if there's a duplicate in terms of the profile is already available in the system. How can we ensure that there is a message going to the vendor that this profile is duplicate? Everything. So the entire workflow of the entire hiring cycle is managed through this homegrown application. While this is good, to be honest, there's one area which I personally feel, and I'm sure some of you will agree. I think the internal, and that's where we are also looking at some product. We are evaluating some product to see. The challenge that we see is while there is a good internal database, the ability to auto match. So for example, if I have 1,000 people in my database on Java, if I have a request on Java which comes up, the ability for the system to pop up and say, these are the 1,000 people in your internal database who match the demand which has just got created, is something we are looking at. We are looking at a tool to see how this auto match or auto tagging can happen. Because if the sourcing organization or the sourcer is going to spend time looking at this entire pool of 5 lakh or 10 lakh or 15 lakh resumes that you have to find out who are the 1,000 people in the database, that is killing my entire lead time. So while we have this application tracking system, we are looking at that one area in terms of how can we get a tool which has this facility to do this auto match. I'm told there are a couple of vendors who have products in this space. So I'm aware Burning Glass as an organization has some product around this. I also know Monster in US has launched something called See More, only for this. I also know of some Indian companies who are coming in this space. But if we can fix that area, if we as recruitment managers can fix that area of, I have resumes in my internal database, but the ability of this database to auto match resumes when a new demand gets created, will really crash the entire lead time to hire, and will move fast in the entire hiring process. So that's one area where we know that we need to do something, and we are talking to a few vendors to fix this particular issue. Otherwise, the rest of the part that my current application tracking system does is fantastic. Moving on to the social media presence, very clearly, we were very sure that if we want to engage and look at all the passive candidates that we have, we had to create a community on social community, and we have one resource, and within a couple of them, we created a social media team specifically to drive some of the initiatives in the social media space. We have won a couple of awards as well in this category. So we officially started the Capgemini social media community on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter in December 2010. Some of the things that we have done is we have a BI community of which we have created, which is there on social media. We have created a community for IT infrastructure management resources. The Capgemini India career page is there. I'm sure most of you would have seen the Capgemini Super Techie Show. We have completed 2 seasons of the Capgemini Super Techie shows. So that has given us a lot of visibility in the entire hiring space. and we have one person in our team who drives this day in and day out. His role is only to look at how recruitment can be benefited through the social media channel. This is how the journey has been. So as I was talking about the launch of the Capgemini India career social page, which happened in December 2010. In May 2011, we launched the BI professional page. We have some of our internal BI SMEs contributing a lot on this. And as we speak today, we are 7K BI professionals on this community. Then we moved on in June 2012 and launched the IT infrastructure professional page as well. September 2012 was the launch of the Capgemini Super Techie Show, and a very innovative and interesting approach to attract and engage target IT audience via the reality TV show, and it has been a great success. We got over 50,000 plus techies added in the Facebook app when we launched the Tech Challenge in April 2013. Capgemini has featured a new employee each week by launching the Be the You campaign, and the overall community stands today at, I think it's not 4 lakhs, I think it's crossed 6 lakhs, and our entire presence on social media is helping us attract a lot of talent, including leadership talent, and I think that's the key, including leadership talent. So this has been another very focused initiative which we started early in the game, and we are seeing good results coming through this particular channel. Yes, so I think this is what I had to cover in this entire webinar.
Thank you so much, Anil. It has been honestly a great learning, and we have a lot many questions in queue. We'll take as many as we can, as much as time allows for now. The first one was someone wanted to know a little bit more clarity on IRW. Okay.
So basically, IRW it is the integrated recruitment workflow. Okay, it's a homegrown application, an application tracking system that we built in internally, basically to meet our entire hiring need. Okay, so it's an application tracking system, like you hear about. There is Hirecraft, there is Talayo, there is SuccessFactors, there is SAP On Demand. These are some of the application tracking systems. So similarly, we built it internally, and it's an application tracking system.
All right. Thank you. We have Haminda who would like to know, can you tell us a little more about social referral qualifications, like leaderboards, scoring, and thereon?
Okay, so social referral policy, yeah. So what we are trying to do is, we see today when an employee refers, as I was talking about, an employee does not know what's happening to his profiles, right? But in the new launch that we are doing, an employee can log into his, so there is one internal community talent community that we have. He can log into the internal talent. We have the link that we have, and he can clearly see what are the kind of people, the demand that has been open to employee referral, who is leading in terms of what are the points that they're. So it's not just about the money. It's not just about the employee referral, the referral amount that the person is going to get, but it will tell us that for this particular job that has been opened, this employee is the leader. He has referred the maximum people. which are the channels from which he has referred. All those kind of information will be available to an employee, so that it increases the interest in an employee to see, okay, fine, he's at this point, let me also refer more people, and I also want to be a leader. I want to contribute more and more of my contacts coming into Capgemini. So that's the kind of gamification that we're talking about, to build more interest rather than sending one just job and on an email to an employee, and he may not even bother to look at it and talk to his friends.
Thanks, Anil. We have Geeta would like to know: Do you not experience resistance from senior candidates for digital assessments or tests?
Okay, good question. So, assessment, as I said, we do not do assessment for over 8 years plus kind of people. Okay, so we have structured it. So, for example, 0 to 5 years, we do multiple choice questions. Okay. Which is fine, which people, we do not see any resistance coming in. Obviously, if I'm going to give a multiple choice question to 5 years plus candidates, 5 to 7 years candidates, he may have a resistance. But when he knows that we are giving him a combination of multiple choice questions plus a coding based assessment where he actually goes and codes. In fact, we have got a very, very positive response saying, they're very happy engaging in that kind of an assessment rather than the very typical, interview, because, the feedback that sometimes, and this is something which we hear from the industry, is sometimes the interviewer tests their knowledge than actually testing, what the candidate knows, right? So here, he gets an opportunity to go into an environment, code, and then, we get to know the results. So I think we have not seen any resistance, and we are very, very clear. We do not want to take it up beyond a particular number of years. So about 7 years or 8 years, we would do some kind of, for that category, we would do some kind of a behavioral assessment than doing a technical assessment.
Yeah. We have Gyanendra who would like to know how to make sure that the candidate responds to the online test quickly without causing any delay. Is there any particular format that Capgemini follows?
No, so see, in most of the hiring, given the volume hiring that we do, most of the time, it's a weekend activity that happens, right? So, and then we get this candidate coming to the office to do the interview, or we have tie up with some of the web worlds where they can go and do the assessment. Now we have a feature where we can also do a live feed where if the people are we have not reached a stage where we can send the link to to a candidate at his residence and ask him to take the assessment, but we do we call them to an office or to a web world, and they also know that with 50 minutes or 45 minutes of assessment, they know that whether they are moving to the next step or not, rather than the interview schedule and reschedule that happens. And I think we have been able to. So we have not found any issues there. As I said, we can do 3,000 interviews a day. So we have the scale, and we have not seen any issues. And we see the candidate also being very happy, to go through the assessment and take the assessment and move on.
Thanks, Anil. We have Geeta who has another question. Do you experience that at L2 level, technical questions are repeated?
No. So what happens is technical questions. So the report that we get, as I was talking about, the report that I get, we share with the interview panel at the level 2 interview, very clearly tells him that what are the strong points and what are the weak points. And since it is a test which has been approved by SME from across the organization, there is an alignment there. So they would rather focus on asking him questions on the area where they think that he's average, and just get more inputs there, and also from an overall organization fitment and maybe the time of the project and its flexibility to work on shifts and all those kind of points get discussed. There could be few questions which may get repeated, but the focus is on asking the questions wherein the candidate has not scored well, because the entire report is shared with the technical panel.
Thanks, Anil. Also, she'd like to know, how do you see digital assessments are relevant for functional skills in ERPs like SAP? Anything that you have come across?
No, so SAP, yeah. So as I said, on all the core modules of SAP, whether it is FICO, whether it is SD, MM, PP, and on the technical side, SAP ABAP and SAP Basis and SAP BI, we have built the assessment and it's working absolutely fine. Yes, for the 5 to 8 years experience, there could be a challenge because we are looking at how we can create the scenario-based questions. But up to 0 to 4 or 0 to 5 years, we have the assessment on all the core module, and as I said, on the technical side, ABAP, Basis, and BI. So it's working absolutely fine. We don't have an issue there.
Thank you. We have a question wherein you mentioned about Capgemini Recruitment ATS. So could you please elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. The application tracking system, the IIW that I mentioned, which is an homegrown application, integrated recruitment workflow. It was the same point which I think somebody else asked earlier. So it's an homegrown application where we track the entire from a time is requisition is raised to entire onboarding, and the data getting passed into the HR system is all managed through this IIW, the application tracking system, except that one area which I said wherein we have a huge database and we are looking at how there could be an auto search which can happen when a new request gets created to minimize the entire fulfillment timeline.
Thank you. We have another question from Kavita. As a manufacturing industry, where can be possible ways to use psychometric tests? What can be the possible ways to use psychometric tests?
Well, we have not gone, to be honest, we have not gone so currently the way we are focused on as an IT organization, we have been focused on more on the technical skills, because currently the way we use psychometric is we have been using psychometric test more for the leadership hiring level, and for some of our internal employees who are at leadership level. We have not used psychometric in the volume hiring space, though we are looking at piloting this for the manager category, which I would say would be 8 to 12 years experience, is where we want to pilot it with. But we are not looking at doing this for volume hiring for say 0 to 7 years experience.
We have another question. Just allow me to pull that out for you. One moment. We have Neeraj who would like to know, how do you encourage employees to participate in employee referral programs?
Yeah, so as I said, employee referral program, the way we've been doing it in the past has been more about opening requests to them, and they looking at it, and they're then trying to talk to some people, and which I think is not so. We are so while we have touched 18, 19% or 20%, we want to scale that up to 30%, and that's where we said we have already piloted and launching the gamified social referral program, wherein an employee will post the request to his social network, and people can see that, the entire social network can see that, and whoever is interested in that opportunity would respond, would fill in some details, and then the recruitment organization would get a trigger saying this particular candidate has got this, has responded to this job request, and this has come through this particular employee. And as I was talking about, we're talking about 48,000 employees, and imagine their social network and the demand getting open. It's a huge area for us, and 2014 we're going to be focusing to increase this number considerably and minimize the agency usage.
Thanks, Anil. We have another question from Geetu. She asks, do you have different assessments based on the type of project, or it's skill-based?
It is skill-based as well as project-based. So as I was giving the example earlier, you could have two projects on custom software development, wherein one project needs just core Java, JSP, and servlets, whereas the other projects need J2E, EJB, Hibernate, struts. We can have two different links or assessment links getting created. Another example, somebody may need just C# and .NET, whereas somebody would need a .NET, MVC, and WCF, and WPF, and Silverlight. I can create two separate links specific to two separate projects, and the candidates would take that assessment.
Oh, okay. How does the data get updated? And when a candidate actually enters into or joins the organization, will the database get automatically updated with your online process that you're talking about?
Yes, the data is absolutely integrated first with my application tracking system, and then it moves on into the PeopleSoft system that we have. So there is an absolute interface which is there.
Oh, okay. We have another question from Ankur. How difficult is it to hire through traditional ways in today's scenario?
So the traditional scenario, one of the challenge is that you will be able to get your vanilla skills through the market. But if you look at the way, and my experience in so many years in the hiring process, that the entire need for niche and skills where the pool is limited is increasing. So while you will be able to fulfill some of your vanilla or demand through the traditional channels, you will struggle to fulfill the niche demands or the skills which are not available in plenty. And that's where the entire gamification through the social referral or the social media and the communities that we have been creating, we have created, our career page, the Capgemini Super Techie shows. These are all some of the initiatives that we are doing to attract that talent which is either not looking out for a change, they are passive candidates, and how we can engage them and then eventually get them to join Capgemini. Traditional methods, good for vanilla skills, you will struggle for niche skills.
Thanks, Anil. We have Neeraj who would like to know, what is the reward system used in Capgemini for employee referral?
Pardon me?
What is the reward system used at Capgemini for employee referral?
So I would not be able to share the amount given the confidentiality, but it is based on the level of the resource that we are hiring. So any employee at whatever level he is can refer, but it is based on so we have a hierarchy in terms of consultant, senior consultant, manager, senior manager, and above. So based on what level the resource that he referred got hired, there is a referral amount that is paid to the employee.
Thank you so much, Anil. We actually have a few more questions in line, but looking at the time given, I think with this question and answer, we'll have to be wrapping up today's webinar. Once again, I'd like to thank the webinar's principal partner, CEB's SHL Talent Measurement Solution, knowledge and RPO partner, PeopleStrong, and associate partners, Cornerstone On Demand. Nothing that we can miss out. Thank you so much, Anil, for being a great presenter today. You have actually engaged in so many participants. We have so many questions for you to be left unanswered even now. It has been invaluable information for us. And thank you so much, participants, for actually being there and being very active during this session. We are definitely going to come up with many such more. Anil, we have a few requests for your email ID and the presentation that you have shared. It would be great that if you could, probably share as a shareable version, or however, whichever you would like to probably consult your business comm team and let us know. With that, we will conclude today's webcast. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.